All of us want long and healthy relationships, but sometimes it's just not meant to be. Hey guys, it's Dan, and today I want to talk to you about how to know when it's time to end a relationship. That lovely, miserable time when you know, or how to know when it's time to call it quits. I know that this may seem kind of like a whirlwind because I recently uploaded the video talking about how I got the one that got away, but that was actually recorded a while ago and I sat on it just kind of waiting, debating on when to put that up, but I decided to go ahead and upload it before everything kind of transpired and whatnot. So I do apologize for the whiplash that may cause, but her and I did separate, and this is how we knew it was time and how you may find some signs to know when it is time to end a relationship. And the first reason why we ended up separating, and the best way to kind of tell when a relationship is coming to an end, is we actually had been communicating the whole relationship about everything. And you might question, why would that be a cause for it to end? Well, communication is one of the key things in a healthy relationship. And thankfully for us, we did separate on good terms. We're still good friends. We still talk every now and then. And we had just been communicating the whole time, trying to figure out where we wanted to be in life, where we wanted to go. And we're kind of upfront on like, hey, this is what I might be doing. This is what she might be doing. And kind of playing it by ear, seeing how things went. Well, come to find out, she is going to end up moving away, and I potentially may be moving away in the complete opposite direction, and it doesn't really feed into letting the relationship really transpire and both of us being around each other for the long enough time to build that relationship and make it something long term. So we decided to cut it off there. So, communicating is a great way to determine whether or not the relationship is being fruitful and if it's going to happen, as well as no communication is an instant tell that it's not going to work. If your partner isn't being upfront with you, communicating the things that are important for them and where they see their life going, then it's obviously not really going to work. You're going to have problems that whole time when somebody's upset, but nobody's going to talk to the other party about it and really figure out what's going on. Another reason that we ended up separating was because the things that I needed and wanted were some of the things that she absolutely did not want to change. And then some of the things that she needed and wanted were things that were on my no-go list. For instance, I wanted someone that would come out and go to events with me, especially since I've started progressing in my career field. I have to go to a lot more meetings and a lot more events and things like that. And I wanted someone that would come with me to those events, someone that would be my partner in crime, for instance, as a terrible example. But that wasn't something that she was willing to do just because that she had really bad social anxiety and it wasn't something that she could really work past. As well, she wanted to do a lot more traveling around and going to different places to interview for a lot long-term plans, and that's something that I couldn't really do just because I was set in at my current job and didn't really have the ability to just pack up and leave for a week at a time once a month, and it's just something that I couldn't necessarily do, and I couldn't go to the places that she wanted to. And we both were just like, hey, look, this isn't really working. We're not meshing well here. Let's go ahead and see what we have. Sometimes you can work through situations like that and it ends up being fantastic for both parties. You bring someone out of their shell and you kind of reel someone back, and you find that happy middle for both of you. But every now and then you'll come across the certain non-negotiables, for instance, where nobody's willing to put in effort and change there. And it's okay to have those non-negotiables, but sometimes you do have to make some sacrifices. We'll cover that more on Why Relationships Are Hard video that I have planned in the future. But for us, that was just something that, hey, our non-negotiables aren't really working with each other and it's going to end up tearing us apart in the long run. And back to the communication thing, we were both upfront about this, and that's kind of another thing that played into why we separated. So those are a couple of the big reasons for me and our relationship as to why we decided to separate there. As well, you can kind of pick up on when somebody is no longer interested in a relationship. I've had this many times before where you both are like all over each other, super happy all the time, and then it seems like with the flip of a switch, the other party does not want to be associated with you at all. They don't seem happy or fun to be around. They'd rather be on their phone or out with other people, and they've just lost that interest. sometimes you can get it back, but more likely than not, it's time to go ahead and call it because they aren't going to be coming around. They've moved on. They're just kind of waiting to see what happens and figuring out the right time to break it off. So it may just be a good idea to go ahead and say, hey, look, I know that you've been distant. It's not really working for me. I think it's time that we call it quits. That's another really big tell when it comes to time to end a relationship. I'm not going to go full into a lot of the standard obvious reasons when it's time to end a relationship, like the cheating and hiding their phones and stuff like that. Like those are pretty obvious tells that I feel like don't need to be covered, because if that's happening, obviously you need to cut them off. That relationship needs to end. It shouldn't be continuing on in any way, shape, or form, especially if they're cheating on you. Cheaters have no respect in my book. I despise cheaters, and if you are a cheater, I hope you get caught. But we're not going to cover that stuff. I just kind of wanted to hop on and share some of like the lighter tells that most people may not necessarily think or really read into and get stuck in that necessarily, essentially honeymoon phase may be the right term, where you think everything's going perfect and no matter what the flaw is, you can overlook it, you can work through it together. But sometimes there's just not the ability to do that. You both end up having to figure out what is going to be best for you, and that may be separating. And I know relationships ending is never fun. It is a terrible experience for everyone because you really do love that person. And for me and my now ex, I wish her the best and hope to see her succeed. Who knows, like I said in the one that got away video, we may end up coming back together. You never know what the big man upstairs plans are if you believe in him. But life is a very, very strange game, and you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes relationships are just an instant hit. You know they're the one when you are 5 years old. You marry them right out of high school. You have 1,000 kids, and you live happy for the rest of your life. And other times you're still out dating until your mid-30s, your mid-40s, or even your 50s. And who knows, maybe even past then. I haven't gotten that far, and I don't know too many people personally that are still looking for relationships at that time, and that's okay if you are. Nothing against you, but sometimes you just need to know when to hang up your hat and say, hey, I can't go any further. Just know that one person will come along that will be the perfect match for you, and you will never have to worry about these kinds of things or have to worry about ever losing them in your life. That's when you know that it's the right person. I do personally believe in soulmates, and I do think that they will come around at some point in your life. You just have to be open and willing to accept it and be able to roll with the punches when you need to. But with that all being said, you guys, I hope you all did enjoy this video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will catch you all in the next one. See ya.